What is up, YouTube? My name is G3 Iron, and today we are talking about the Mirror of Calandra prevalence so far in the Betrayal League. Got a couple of highlights to show you about just how common. I mean, mirrors are still the most rare thing to drop in the game. And yet, with so many players playing Betrayal League and with all-time Steam chart peaks and all-time concurrent player records being broken with the Betrayal launch, there are more people than ever that are clicking and opening strong boxes, opening chests, killing monsters, and of course finding Mirrors of Calandra. So at this point in time in the Betrayal League, we're still less than a full week in. We're 6 days into the league, and there are a total of 16 mirrors on the market. So right now the going price is between 56. I'm not sure if this is a price fixer or not. I haven't messaged Hand of Wisdom 92, but the price is between 56 to around 70x is where the bulk of the mirrors are going for, and then they go up from 70 all the way up to 120, and then there are a few for 300 all the way at the very bottom, basically where the expected league price is to go in comparison to standard. So Mirror of Calandra, an incredibly rare drop. It's the most highly valued currency item in the game. But already in the league, somebody, this one particular user, which credit to Invirtua, this post will be linked down below in the video information if you want to read it for yourself. But I wanted to share this with you. This guy has done this multiple leagues where he just spends the first few leagues making few days of the league making a bunch of currency. So first off, he shares with us his proof image right here, which you can see there's 3 mirrors of Calandra sitting right there. And then he's just got tons of other currency that's sitting right here. You can see he's got a tab set up, buyout for 15 chaos, buyout for 7 chaos. He's got 344 alks, he's got 222 chaos, he's got 3x, and then of course he's sitting on 3 mirrors. So how exactly did he go about making 3 mirrors so quickly into the league? This took him just a few days to do so. He did this in Delve, and he did a write-up of how exactly he did this. So for those of you that like this sort of stuff, Bank of Exile, Math of Exile, the economics of Path of Exile, then this is the content that you and I at least crave, because I love reading this sort of stuff. Exactly how people use market supply and market demand in order to accrue wealth. So the too long don't read is he played all day, every day. He farmed Eldered maps with Scarabs and Monstrous Treasure Prophecy, and he got mirrors. So some might remember my last thread on the same topic in Delve, and there's a lot of information there that I won't repeat here, and just discourse on what went differently. Again, slept around 3 hours a night with another 3 hours for naps, food, shower, and rest breaks. So right away, just first off, this guy is doing this, or this player is doing this with extremely small amounts of breaks and rest. So for those of you that are wondering, oh, how does this person make mirrors, and how is it that people do this in Path of Exile? How is this possible? There are ways of doing this by being incredibly efficient, and then by sacrificing a lot of your basically sleep time. So we'll see at the very end of the post where he says, hey, I'm going back to my regular life. I'm going to play the rest of the league casually. I've enjoyed making money so far in the league, but it is possible to do if you simply devote yourself to no sleep and a bunch of really efficient trading and moves. So here we go. He breaks it down into play sessions. So Friday from 5 p.m. to Saturday at 2 a.m. Like everyone else, I leveled with Arc Mine's Shadow to switch to Arc Warp Assassin once I got my pens. 4 hours to Aqueducts, and another 5 to farm Humilities and Chaos Recipe to do Acts 9 and 10 and Labs. I wanted to get 1 or 2 even pens, 1 or even 2 pens here, but there were already 45 Chaos. I got 24 Chaos, bought 1x for 20, and off to do the Atlas. So already from the very beginning of the league, Poets Pens, most of us that are watching Poets Pen prices, they've just skyrocketed as the league has gone on. But even as the league started, Poets Pens were already more expensive than Exalteds. Saturday from 2 a.m. until Saturday at 1 p.m. My initial plan was basically the same. Rush 2 times Poets Pens, get all the tier 1 through tier 8 on the Atlas, and farm shaped volcanoes for combs while selling shaped underground sea and lower maps. Then switch to +5 Belfry, and then either Guardians or Eldered Channel. Well, now pens were 70C, and I'm forced to keep playing as Arc Mines. I grabbed a pen for 1x around 8 a.m. and the second one for 2x by around 4 p.m. Turns out Combs card drop is abysmal, and Guardian maps are 15C somehow. Why bother with 11 or 15s if 16s are almost free? I started buying Guardians and farming frags and maps. Saturday from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. After doing Guardians and fixing the Atlas, I had around 10x and finished up my gear. At this point, I noticed Monstrous Treasure was still 13C and White Sextants were less than 1C. I decided to grab the Elder Orb and start spamming Monstrous Treasure on channel for tabulas and maps. Saturday from 8 p.m. to Sunday at 7 a.m. Yeah, that Elder Orb took a while. The main problem was trying to hit all 5 in one spawn, so I had to learn the new Atlas and make it have 20 reds on spawn if possible. I messed up a few times and I had to restart and spent a lot of chaos buying specific reds. After getting the 15 frags, I went for Shaper and got a Solstice. There was none for sale and I thought maybe I just got 8x there. I got excited and did a few more Shapers and got another Solstice and a Sun. That refers to Dying Sun. It's a Shaper-only flask. Unfortunately, no one wanted them, and I sold for 20C each by the end of the day as I wanted to convert everything ASAP. Okay, so right away there's a lesson here. So this guy valued his stuff at several X, but he realized, hey, it's not selling, and currency at that early in the league is way more valuable than items because it simply scales faster if you know how to spend it. So he says, now I had an Elder Orb and it was time for channels. Would have been great to get the 4th Sextant, but I'm not skilled enough to do Uber Elder and the gear with the gear I had, and figured I wouldn't find a boss killer to do it on day 2. So this is a player recognizing his limits, even though this guy is incredibly amazing at the efficiency of his farming rate and progression. He still recognizes his own limits, and he says, look, I can't take down the Uber Elder, so I'm going to figure out another way in order to make currency. Sunday, from 7 a.m. until Monday at 8 a.m. Still couldn't believe that Monstrous Treasures were only 12 chaos. I started stockpiling on Saturday and was up to 30 in the stash now. With White Sextants also super cheap, I could afford to roll 500% Sextant for every single map. After this whole day on channels, I had some 35x for selling maps and tabulas. This is when I remembered Scarabs were a thing, and, well, they were. Monday, 8 a.m. until now, until the time of his original post. So I spent 45 of the past 60 hours doing Eldered channels with Scarabs. You know how one picture is worth 1,000 words? This is what I got from a single Eldered channel with Rabs, which means Scarabs. The biggest downside was trading for it. I had to do 3 separate trades for every map I'd run, plus I often had to sell tier 11 plus maps one at a time, which was super time consuming and boring. Was still effective though. Okay, for those of you wondering what's the image, here's the image. This is from one of his tier 16 Elder Orbed channel runs. Okay, now he's got a bunch of prophecies over here, but he's got 7 chisels, 2 middle grade sextants, he's got 5 vol orbs, 20 jewelers, a regret. He's got a div card that we're not sure what that is. My assumption would be it's another humility. He's got a sack fragment. He's got a unique map, probably Vaults of Mitsiri. There's a chaos, just one pure chaos. Notice of all the things that he's collected, this is an amazingly highly profitable map, but the pure currency isn't where the profit is. The pure currency, or the profit is not in the pure currency, but it is in pretty much everything else. Look at this. He's got 3 tabulas right there, which we're probably selling for anywhere between 12 to 15. Maybe 10 to 13 at that point in the league. I'm not quite sure on a Monday. He said this is the Monday segment, but said this right here is 30 chaos, right around there. And then in terms of each of these maps are going to sell between, if they're tier 16s, they're going to sell, and these Guardians are tier 16s. Those are each going to sell between 25 to 35 chaos, no matter what time of the league it was, as it continued to go up, as the price on tier 16s continued to go up. So he made so much money off of just this. Again, this is just one example of one particular map that he ran. So no wonder why he made so much currency. All right, he said, I still wanted to get that 4th Sextant and could have found a killer now, referencing Uber Elder killer, but the amount of time to shift Elder to Guardians, spawn and kill, and shift back to channel, those are hours I could farm many exalts, and since I wouldn't play for more than a day or two, I just decided to go 3 Sextants all the way. His choice for Scarabs were Cartography, Divination, and Ambush, all gilded, which is the top tier. Right when I started, they were 13C, 7C, and 3C. I honestly considered converting all my currency into scarabs when I noticed how underpriced they were for what they were doing, but trading that much currency, one scarab at a time, using live searches would make me uninstall. Plus, I figured mirrors would go up at about the same rate. Right now, they're about 45C, 14C, and 10C, which is still great for Monstrous Treasure, but meh without a proc. Some tests would be required to evaluate worth, but my guess is 55, 17, and 12 without Monstrous Treasure, and 110, 25, 12 with a proc. I kept converting and trading for mirrors Monday through Wednesday, which cost me 45, 51, and 62x respectively. Time to go back to life and play casually for the rest of the league. All in all, it was a lot of fun and worth the time and effort for me, even if just to see if I could beat my delve farm. So this is great. It really is. This teaches us a lot. It teaches us a lot about efficiency. It teaches us a lot about trading. It teaches us a lot about drops, about how if you've got currency and it's just sitting in your stash, it's not working for you. At one point, he mentions that he was considering turning all of his currency into various other types of currency if it's undervalued, which is a huge piece of wisdom. If you've got a bunch of currency sitting around and it's just sitting there, it's not doing anything for you. It's not essentially accruing value. Even just this week alone, one of the things that I did to make some money while I was sleeping was simply to convert all of our chaos into exalts. And we know that the exalt price is going to go up. We don't know what the rate at which it's going to go up is at right now, but we knew it was going to go up. And so one day this league, I think that was either yesterday or the day before, we converted all of our chaos into X, and I believe the rate was like 80 that day, and then the next day it was like 88. So even though I wasn't using any of our chaos at that point in time, simply went to bed and woke up, for every exalted that we had, 8 chaos richer. Now, what this guy is doing is this on a massive scale with every single piece of currency that he gets, every single drop that he gets, and every single map that he gets. The level of efficiency from Invirtua is simply astounding. It's amazing, and it is totally praiseworthy and totally highlight worthy. So hopefully you guys enjoy this style of content, and I would highly, highly recommend that you look for these sort of things. I'm keeping my eyes out for these sort of things because I can honestly learn a lot from this sort of stuff. And so all I'm trying to do is pass along what I'm reading and learning to you guys. Now, on the same topic of Mirrors of Calandra, there's somebody else this league that looted 3 Mirrors of Calandra from a Syndicate dungeon at level 43 from the currency drop option. Now, here's the Imgur for the proof of it. I don't know why it's not showing for some reason right here on the Reddit thread, but here is the Imgur proof of it. There's 3 mirrors up there in the top left, and you can look at his character. Like, his character's got nothing on his character. His stash has got like nothing in his stash. He just got this as a currency reward. And Chris Wilson, the lead dev at Grinding Gear Games for Path of Exile, made a comment on this. So here's the explanation for it. He said the chance of this is absurdly unlikely. It uses the regular game currency weightings but changes the stack size to a random number between 1 and 3. The chance was the same as from a regular currency drop, but you also lucked out to triple it. Rip RNG for life, man. He said we are not changing anything based on this post. Thankfully, it's not actually broken. The lottery works as intended. So that's amazing. So pretty much what Chris said is you had to get lucky enough for this particular currency reward drop from the Syndicate boss to give you to roll even on a mirror, which already was a unique enough scenario, but then you had to get it so that way it rolled 3 and not 2 or not 1. So it had to roll the max level of potential rarity for currency, and then the max level for value or for numerical value of currency that would be in the drop. So really, really cool to see just how many mirrors there are in the league and how people are going about finding mirrors. So what about you? Have you seen any other stories of mirrors that are getting generated in Path of Exile? And is it your goal, or have you ever had a mirror in Path of Exile? It's totally one of my goals this league is to be able to get my hands on a mirror, although right now mirrors are going for 56 to 65x, so that's pretty darn expensive even for my blood. So hopefully we can get there. We'll see what our progress is like as we continue to play Bank of Exile throughout the league. How's your Bank of Exile going? And go ahead and share down below. Leave us a comment down below about what sort of stories you've got from you or from friends about Mirrors of Calandra.